I think that's another day that we solved all the problems of D&D, and RPG horror stories on Reddit will be empty once again.
Hello, and welcome to the Bobcast, episode 14, where today we're going to be talking about character introductions. This is kind of inspired by a sort of not-so-great recent character introduction in a game that Grace plays in, but we're going to make it all worthwhile. But first, if you want the full audio version of this podcast, it is available on my Patreon. You can get that by signing up through the link below. And this video is sponsored by our summer channel sponsor, Describe. Here's a cool character introduction from their new character collection. The creature stands the height of a human, but with the feathered wings and beak snout of a massive bird. They move on spindly, digitigrade legs, a grace to their movement, hinting at the lightweight bones and uncanny coordination. So, you can find that description and a bunch more for characters, monsters, spells, and more on describe.com. There's links below, and you can sign up with the affiliate link, or rather with the code BOB to save 10% when you do that.
Spindly legs.
Yeah, that's what Barty McFly looks like. Don't make fun of him. He's the best character ever. And I'm actually finally getting some art done of him, so that's really cool. And this video is not about character backstories. This is about just making it happen in the moment.
We're very adamant about this not being about backstories.
Yeah, this is just about getting into the party.
It's getting in.
Not about the aftermath.
Any plots you have after that, this video is not about that.
That's on you. We'll make another one about that.
It's about getting into the party and getting along in that first session. You shouldn't just do off-the-wall stuff right off the bat. My character is actually Asmodeus of the Nine Hells. That's obviously way too much.
Yeah, that's super extreme. But I feel like even just having...
If you've ever had a player or played with someone who tried to do something like that, please tell me the story.
Yeah.
I want to know.
Here we go. Well, let's jump in.
So here's what had happened. Our adventuring party, a group of bounty hunters... wakes up to find a note from one of our party members that says he's gone off to search for something. And this is unrelated, but then we were like, let's try to avoid meeting any new people today. Just jokingly, obviously.
Okay. I didn't know about that. That's funny.
Yeah. And then we kind of made a joke about how we're walking down the street just looking at the ground, and all these people with crazy haircuts and hair colors are around us.
Every anime main character is walking by.
We're going through the forest to meet this extremely powerful angel of the elements, whatever, and he can only behead one guy at a time. Lame.
That's an inside joke.
We're traveling through the forest, and then we come to this guy, a snowy owl person, some kind of Aarakocra. I'm not exactly sure what race he's using.
It sure as heck wasn't Barty McFly.
It was not.
But it's
Barty
really funny.
Barty McFly would never.
Sorry to interrupt. That totally makes my random decision of choosing a bird character description makes so much more sense. Continue.
So we get into his clearing. He's like, "Stop! This is sacred ground." He said it exactly like that. You can't go any further. And we were like, "Oh, sorry, we didn't know that this clearing was sacred. We'll go around, I guess." And he's like, "No, you have to stop. If you try to pass by, I'll fight you."
Whoa.
I'm kind of shortening it.
You can't be here, but must stay.
Right, but he had kind of arranged it with, I think, another player, his friend. That they were going to fight. It hadn't been discussed with us at all how this was going to go down.
It's almost like having a secret from the party. It
wasn't even a secret from the party. It was just, it wasn't discussed with us beforehand. So the rest of us were like, why would we want this guy in our party who just wants to fight us when we're just trying to get somewhere?
Just trying to walk on that sacred ground, you know?
Right. So we're just trying to leave. The other character, Jari, a lizard folk, we know he wants to fight everyone, so this wasn't super weird to us.
That's his thing.
Starts fighting this guy, and then the DM reveals that, this snowy owl man has a tattoo that's similar to Jari's. So Jari stops and he says, "Where'd you get that tattoo?" And the snowy owl man says, "I'm not gonna tell you." So that was kind of a miscommunication. I think he said it was a miscommunication with the DM where he thought that, like, Jari would already know what it meant and where it was from, but he didn't.
Oh, okay.
So they just kept trying to fight each other, and eventually Jari got a real big wallop from this new character.
Natural.
Jari's our friend, and we know him, so if this guy is gonna kill him, like, we're gonna kill him right back. And we even warned the player, like, if you keep doing this, our characters will basically have no choice but to hurt you.
Yeah.
And, like, we didn't really want to do that because we knew it was a new character. Like, we don't want to kill someone's new character.
So how did the situation end?
Also not in a super great way.
Right.
The guy that we were hunting descended from the sky and struck Jari with a lightning bolt
while
that knocked
you were
him
all
unconscious.
still kind of in the middle of this thing.
Yes.
Okay. So that was almost a little bit of enemy ex machina inserted to, like, quickly unite you guys?
Yeah, that was just the DM trying to stop the PvP.
Right.
And then we kept going for a little while, and this new character was still with us, but our character's like, why are you here? You don't like us, we don't like you. So we retconned it, basically, to be the fight didn't happen, and we all got along.
Okay.
And it was fine.
Wow. I didn't remember being that's how it was fixed. Like, that it was just like, oh, we just decided that didn't happen.
They did retcon it again to be...
Double retcon?
Yeah, so that Jari and Sifu did fight a little bit.
Okay.
But it turned out okay.
And then was it supposed to be the tattoo? Were they, like, pirate buddies together or something? Right.
I still actually don't know.
Oh.
That has not been revealed to my character.
Ah.
But lessons to learn from this. This is why it's such a great example, is because I don't think it was any one person's fault for why this went bad. Jari and Sifu, they wanted to fight. They're friends, and they wanted to have this fight. They didn't discuss it with the rest of the party. We don't know that they wanted to fight each other. DM didn't really communicate the importance of the tattoo when the tattoo was seen. Instead of saying, this is none of your business, maybe saying, how do you recognize this tattoo? That would have opened a dialogue, and that's really what you want to do.
Yeah.
You want to have a dialogue instead of,
One thing that's really cool is I feel like off the bat, he did a great job of, like, getting your attention. With just, like, this is sacred. Like, that's an interesting...
Right. Why was the ground sacred? I don't even know if we asked that question.
Well, you know that, I feel like you guys know that his character worshiped, like, the same god as his old character,
I actually
right?
don't know that yet. Well, I knew that as a person, but my character doesn't know her more.
And overall, that, again, goes back to, like, that's a backstory thing. So, like, really...
We're not talking about backstory.
We're not, because that's, like, the easy way out, right? It's so easy just to be like,
what my
we
character
worship...
would do.
Well, no, just to be even like, we worship the same god. Hey, like, we're friends now. Have them be literal a family member of somebody else. Like, that backstory stuff, that is the low-hanging fruit here. This, like, we're more on the level of...
How do you treat other people when you, like...
Yeah. Is this an issue where you want to be this character who is, like, a hero in your own right, so it's hard to sometimes, like, get people to think intuitively, like, oh, yeah, but I have to be, like...
A team player.
Really, yeah, exactly. You can be a little mysterious without being...
Standoffish.
You don't have to be standoffish. You can have these interesting things about you that you're then willing to explain, or maybe just say, like, it'll take you getting to know me a little while to really get to the bottom of this.
Part of the introduction of a new character is the other side of the party. Like, if the party is just gonna be mean and dismiss a new player, that's not, like, the player's fault.
Things that you were, like, joking about, like, oh, we shouldn't meet anybody new. Don't be like, oh, our friend died, we could never accept a new friend. Because then it's like, well, if the player probably wants to stay in the game.
Yeah.
Right? So don't do that. Welcome, everyone.
Welcome and be welcoming. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah. So, thank you to our sponsor, Describe, and remember, you can get the full audio of this podcast on the Bob World Builder Patreon with a whole bunch of other cool stuff, to be honest, so go check it out. And I want to say thanks to a bunch of new patrons, like Nargarzvog, Colby, Lyle, Kurt, Decoy, Alexis, Chet Awesome Laser, Daniel, Drew, Harrison, Cap, Kaylee, Chelsea, Darren, George, and Robert. Great names. Anyway, thank you all for your support, and keep building.
Stop building.